The blockade of Gaza must end now. If Canada's political leaders do not understand the truth of this oppression, they are as ignorant as dirt. If they do not understand why Palestinians must suffer for the influence of Israelis and still do nothing to protect the innocent, then they are complicit in crimes against humanity. As Indigenous people of Turtle Island, we understand this reality all too well. Canada does have a history of colonialism. An asymmetrical war is what Israel uses periodically to punctuate its claim to superiority. It claims to be a democracy, but its government is nothing more than a hodgepodge of fanatics. As a state, it is dependent on the generosity of Americans and international welfare. As a spoiled child, it has become morally blind and spiritually corrupt. Stephen Harper has parroted the phrase, "Israel has the right to defend itself." I say there is no defense for colonialism. There is no defense for colonialism. There is no defense for apartheid. My Jewish friends say it this way, not in my name. As a Canadian, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. Royal Opposition, Mr. Want to be a leader, as a Canadian, I say it too. Not in my name.
We'll be free. Nadia Abu Zahra will now speak on behalf of APAC. Actually, I speak on behalf of everyone here.
Yes.
I don't speak on behalf of any organization or association, but rather many, many, many. Here and across Canada, we have the good fortune to be in Ottawa in front of our Prime Minister's office. Hello, Prime Minister.
Shame!
We speak for all of Canada, for all Canadians who stand for human rights and who stand for a little girl who was born a week ago. Her name is Noor, which means night, in English, in Arabic, in Hebrew, in Gaelic, in many languages. Her name is Noor, and she was 4 days old. 4 days in this world when she was struck in the chest with a piece of Israeli weaponry. Her parents had waited for 4 years to have a child, and then the miracle of Noor was born to them. And 4 days after her birth, she was struck in the chest by Israeli weaponry. Every Canadian cares for Noor. There is no Canadian, and I believe no Israeli, who cannot care for Noor. What has Noor done to deserve a hole in her chest that may or may not kill her? It is up to us to make sure that she is the last baby, the last 4-day-old infant in this world to ever suffer such a crime against humanity. So dear Prime Minister, we are here to ask you, to beseech you to please speak up for Noor. If no one else, if 500 people dead now, 600 people dead now are not enough, at the very least, speak for Noor, speak for that 4-day-old infant. That's all we ask. That is why we are here. Remember Noor and her mother who waited 4 years to see her and hopes not to lose her so soon.
My name is Peter Larson. I'm a member of the National Education Committee on Israel-Palestine. As you've heard and we know, the news from Gaza continues to be appalling. But I'd like to address a very important question that we all have to be able to address. been raised over and over again by Mr. Harper, whose office is in this building. Mr. Harper and Mr. Baird keep repeating that Israel has the right to defend itself. Mr. Obama and Mr. Kerry have also used this argument. In fact, Kerry used an example. He said that if rockets were coming into the United States from Canada, of course the United States would have the right to defend itself. So why shouldn't Israel? Well, I think Mr. Kerry is absolutely right. Every nation has the right and even the obligation to defend itself and its citizens against attacks coming from other countries. This includes Israel. Israel is recognized by United Nations. If Israel is attacked by Iran or by Egypt, international law says that Israel would have the right to defend itself. But Israel is not being attacked by a foreign power. What's happening in Gaza is quite different. The people who live in Gaza, over 1 million of them, came from towns and villages and farms that are today inside Israel. They were inhabitants of an area that's been known for centuries as Palestine. And today, that same area is called Israel. Those people, or their parents, were forced off their lands into a tiny area of Palestine called the Gaza Strip. And they were forced by Jewish militias in 1947 and 48. They didn't leave of their own volition. Some of them left at gunpoint. Some of them just ran away. Why? Because their neighbors in the next village were massacred. That's why they ran away. In total, nearly 100,000 of them fled to Gaza in 1947-48, where they thought they were safe. They expected to come back. Many still have the keys to their houses. But Israel won't let them come back. And they have been trapped in Gaza in this tiny piece of territory for 65 years. Now there's more than 1 million of them living in misery. They can't get out, they can't go back, and they're desperately poor. And Israel, with its overwhelming military power, might well be able to kill every single leader of Hamas. It's already killed many of them, and it doesn't seem to mind slaughtering lots of civilians in the process. But will that solve the problem? No. The basic problem will remain. Here's the problem. What is the future for 1 million Palestinian refugees in Gaza? When they climb up the stairs of their 7- or 8-story apartment building in Gaza, many of those refugees can see the farmlands that used to be theirs on the other side of the wall. A wall of concrete and barbed wire and armed machine guns. With binoculars, they can see Jewish immigrants from the Ukraine and Russia and Bulgaria, and maybe even some from America, farming the land that used to be theirs. Even if Israel assassinates all of the Hamas leaders, the problem remains, and as a result, Hamas or something else will come back. There's only one solution to this issue. The blockade of Gaza must end, and the human rights of the Palestinian refugees must be addressed. Does Israel have the right to defend itself? International law says it does if it's attacked by a foreign power. But does the state of Israel have the right to use unlimited force to keep its own people cooped up in squalor and misery while taking their lands? And to continue to massacre its leaders and its civilians every 2 or 3 years dealing with the issue? On this, international says no. Thank you. Thank you.
5, 6, 7, 8, stop the killing, stop the hate. 1, 2, 3, 4, we don't want your dirty war. 5, 6, 7, 8, stop the killing, stop the hate. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry, Palestine will never die. Free, free, Palestine! 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 Free, free,
We will now hear a word from Deanna Roth of the Independent Jewish Voices, our allies. I stand here as a Jew with the symbol of Israel behind us and the symbol of the Canadian Israel lobby on the other side of us, Sija. Shame! Shame! In Israel and around the world, Jews are marching in solidarity with the people of Gaza. Naomi Wolf said it best. I mourn genocide in Gaza because I am the granddaughter of a family half wiped out in the Holocaust. And I know genocide when I see it. People are asking why I am taking sides. There are no sides. When I mourn all the victims. But in every law of war and international law being broken in the targeting of civilians in Gaza. I stand with the people of Gaza exactly because things might have turned out differently if more people had stood with the Jews in Germany. And I stand with the people of Gaza because no one stood with us. We must stop Israel, and we can do it. Palestinian resistance and our solidarity are winning worldwide support. Israel is isolated, stripped of legitimacy, and exposed as just another racist colonial oppressor. As in the final days of South African apartheid, Israel's rising brutality shows its desperation. I would like to thank Victoria Carrera for joining us all the way from New York to stand up with us today against war crimes and misjustice.
With the help of the Almighty, I pray to the Almighty to bestow upon me His truth, His wisdom, that I may be worthy of conveying His message to this distinguished gathering, and that we may so be shalom, shalom, still, and that we may sanctify His name. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. We have come, me personally from New York, but we have come with a delegation of rabbis, some from Palestine, and I have mentioned some who are 8th-generation Palestinians, Jews, of course, from near Canada, and Jews from the UK. We have come for one reason, and one reason only, because it is an obligation upon us, because we are Jews, to stand in opposition, in total opposition to this occupation of Palestine. Israel must go. Judaism, yes. Zionism, no.
Judaism, yes. Zionism, no. Judaism, yes. Zionism, no.
The same that Israel must go.
The same that Israel must go.
No more killing, no more slaughter.
No more killing, no more slaughter.
Gaza's blood is the water.
Gaza's blood is the water. Long live Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free
Canadian Peace Alliance, Canada's largest umbrella group of peace and anti-war and social justice organizations. We represent about 140 groups across Canada and close to 4 million people. And I wanted to just give a very few words here because we've got some other business to do today, and I know you've been on the streets for a long time already. And just a reminder, this isn't going to stop. We're going to keep it up. We are going to end the siege of Gaza. Gaza, and we, together with the millions of people in this world who know in their hearts and their guts and their souls and in their spirits that each person who has not said that this is criminal, war criminal, are complicit, and we will not them enjoy any kind of peace until they are held account. Today, when I was reading through the news, as I think many of us are doing, maybe obsessively, I Googled Liberal Party of Canada human rights. Seems like something interesting, and I don't often write stuff down when I speak. I prefer to speak from my heart. When I do write it down, it's because I want to make sure I get every single word correct. December 10th, International Human Rights Day 2013. Statement from the Liberal Party critic Erwin Kotler. Today we commemorate the 65th anniversary of the United Nations adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Magna Carta of Human Rights, and reflect on the indispensable rights guaranteed to every woman, child, and man across the globe. As I attend Nelson Mandela's memorial service today in South Africa, I am reminded of his life's underlying message, that we have a responsibility to continue supporting and advancing human rights and equality for all. We must remain wholly devoted to realizing these human rights and the ideals espoused in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in every corner of the world. As Mandela himself said, for to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedoms of others. On behalf of the Liberal Party of Canada, said Erwin, I would like to take this opportunity to reaffirm our resolute commitment to the promotion of fundamental human rights worldwide. And you know what I'm going to say next? I call your bluff, I call your hypocrisy, because this was Justin's statement. This was Justin's statement. The Liberal Party of Canada will have Israel's back because it is the right thing to do. Guess what? You're either profoundly deep hypocrites, or you're opportunists, or you're inhumane, or you're all three. And I'm telling you right now, there are liberals out there we know who are calling their party in disgust and heartbreak.
As they
we
should.
know that the people answering the phones are getting angry and frustrated and are being rude to those callers. And what I'm going to say to them, the Liberal Party staffers and the Liberal Party politicians, you have no idea who your potential electorate are. By being rude to them, you're being rude to their understanding of universal human rights. And you, by that very act of rudeness and dismissiveness, as far as I'm concerned, makes you in no condition to have any kind of support from anybody in this country that truly believes that human rights are not things to be cherry-picked.
1, 2, 3, 4, occupation no more. Any occupation now. Any occupation now. Free, free Gaza. Free, free Gaza. Free, free Gaza. Any occupation now.
Shame, shame, NDP!
Shame, shame, NDP.
Shame, shame, NDP!
Shame, shame.
Members of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers, and we're proud today to stand with you to demand an end to this attack on the people of Gaza. And while we demand an end to the occupation and an end to the apartheid state that is right now a blight on this earth. So we're proud to stand here with you today, sisters and brothers, and demand an end to this war.
Thank you everybody for being here. So Saturday, 1 o'clock, we'll see you again in the front of the Human Rights Monument. Thank you very much. Free, free!